Greetings, heroes. It's Coach Rick here with the final edition of your May book club. We are going through Fanatical Prospecting, and we are going to end with probably the most powerful part of this book. So these are the topics we covered so far. Again, if you haven't gotten your study guide, just email jarvis@themorninghero.com, and we will be happy to send you a copy of the accompanying study guide. This is what we're going over this session: message and telephone prospecting, in-person prospecting, and email prospecting. So this is when the rubber meets the road. Once again, I love this quote: stop fighting the process. Prospecting is the process. So we're going to spend most of our time on telephone prospecting because, frankly, regardless of industry, it is the most useful. It's the most consistently rewarding. 15 to 80% contact rate, and that's actually gone up about 5% over the last decade or so. And Jeb likes to point out some reasons he thinks why. Phones are not anchored to desks anymore. Most people now have a phone that rings over to their cell phone, or they don't even have a desk phone. I don't see desk phones in most brokerages anymore. I'm the only one who even uses my office line. Also, no one is calling. Nobody likes to make cold calls. The days of, having your phone blown up by salespeople is just over. So many people got past it, don't like to do it. They find email and social is easier. So a lot less phone calls. So I know for me, I'm much more likely to pick the phone because my phone doesn't ring all day. It's mostly my clients. I get maybe one prospecting call a week. And so I have time to take those. And finally, prospects are getting burned out on email and social. There's so much of it everywhere. You have it in your inbox, I'm sure. I have it in my inbox. It's getting really irrelevant, whereas the telephone prospecting, assuming it's not recorded, is much more personal. I think this is going to increase this even more with ChatGPT and other AI, where you're going to see really personalized email, like bulk email, but it will be sent out using an AI engine, so every email that's sent out is different, which initially will probably cause some uptick, but I think that pretty soon we're all going to just get immune to that and just maybe shut off email altogether unless it's from someone we know, probably like what we do with text. Great quote from Jeb. Nobody answers a phone that doesn't ring. Now, I mentioned text really quickly, and I don't have this in the slide deck, so I want to say it. Do not use text for prospecting. For some reason, I don't know what it is, we all consider text very personal and very private. So if you get a text from someone you don't know, especially now, as you know, if you get a text, it's probably from a spammer, a foreign spammer. So it's just not a good look. The only case when you should be using text as part of your prospecting strategy is after you've just met someone and they have given you proactively their cell phone. And then it's always good either later that day, say, hey, thanks for meeting me for lunch. Or, if you met them at a conference the next day or 2 days later, say, hey, it was really great meeting you. So more as a follow-up strategy, but definitely not as a first touch at all. All right, so why aren't people calling? This was a big one for me. I had huge phone fear. In fact, the only reason I started in the Morning Hero is because I was about to get my ass fired because I wouldn't pick up the phone. And I called Jarvis. I'm not kidding you. I called Jarvis in tears because I knew I was going to get fired and I didn't know how to call. And he took my little baby Rick hand and showed me how to do it. So you probably have a lot of fear of you're not going to know what to say. You're going to get someone on the phone you don't know what to say. Or maybe you don't know how to do it. Who do I call? How should I keep track of who I'm calling? Things like that. Maybe you don't know how to deal with the work. You don't know how to deal with hearing no's. And we've got a trick on hearing no's. Or the big one, you're afraid of rejection. Jeb talks in a great way about rejection, how you don't know what's going on the other end, and you don't know what happened to that person. I very rarely get people who are rude to me, maybe twice a year. It's way less, I think, than you would think. Most people are at best or at worst neutral, especially if you follow the tips we're about to give you. And even if they are, I've called people even a few days later and they've been totally different. and you just caught them at, who knows? They could have had a loved one come down with cancer, or their boss could have just reamed them out, or you just don't know. Jeb Blunt says about cold calling, nobody likes it. Get over it. Yep. If you want to make money, if you don't want to make money, as Jeb says in the book, if it were easy, everybody would be doing it and we'd make minimum wage to do it. But the people who do cold calling effectively make so much money. So here's how you call right away. They answer the phone. I try to make sure I'm talking to the right person. So if the person answers the phone, I'll say, hey, is this Tom? And I'll either get a yes or I'll like, who is this? Because again, they're skeptical. They think maybe it's someone from a foreign country trying to scam them. But that's great because it gets you a lead and you introduce yourself. Hey, this is Rick with Lee and Associates. Get to the point in 10 seconds or less. This is crucial. And a big one is, normally you introduce yourself and the first thing you reflexively ask is, how are you? Don't do that. You don't care. They don't care. You need to get straight to it, right into it, and then use the because. So, hey, this is Rick with Lee & Associates. I'm calling because I have a new office condo available just a few freeway exits from you, and I wanted to see if it might be a good fit for you. Is your lease coming up soon? Boom. I'm straight to it. I already gave them something that could benefit them. I do use a script, so I actually have it written out, and in my CRM, it will show me the script to keep me on track. When you're building your script, think what's in it for them. So you don't want to call and say, oh, hey, I'm going to be in your area, or I need to help. I can't even think because I don't think this way anymore, but what are they going to benefit out of it? So think about the WIFM, what's in it for me, and then the biggest one, and Jeb, he has such great stories about this. Keep track of your calls because I guarantee you, and this is the same for me, and I do hours of prospecting a day. You are not making as many calls as you think you are. I am shocked when I spend 2 hours phone calling and I look down and I've only made 19 or 20 phone calls. I would have sworn I made 50 or 60. So either, you could do something as fancy as a CRM and logging notes from every call, but I still use a piece of paper and little tick marks, and it works great. So keep track of your calls. Get straight to the point because you want to get a yes, no, or tell me more info right away. The person, if they tell me, hey, Rick, we've still got a 5-year lease, we can't go anywhere. Boom, great, I'm done. Thank you. And then, quick exit. You don't need to be uncomfortable. Say, thanks so much for taking your call. I appreciate it. Have a great day. And get off the phone. They will appreciate it and you'll make things easier for the next person who calls. Or when you call again down the road because they'll remember you respected their time. Bonus. This is from Jarvis. Jarvis taught me this one. Voicemails are great. Getting someone's voicemail is so awesome because you're more effective. You get to do your pitch. You don't have to go through any of the awkwardness. You can get way more dials done, and they will only call you back if they're interested. So you're pre-screening. Voicemails are fantastic. Learn to embrace them. You're going to do them the same way you do your intro line, but you start with your contact info. Hey, this is Rick with Lee & Associates. You can reach me at 858-713-9333. I'm calling because I've got an office condo available in your area, and I wanted to see if it'd be a good fit for your business. If you would consider purchasing a space for your company, please give me a call back. Once again, this is Rick with Lee & Associates, 858-713-9333. That's 858-713-9333. Notice I always say my phone number 2 different ways. That way, if for some reason I'm not understandable or they aren't understanding my voice, maybe doing the numbers a different way will help them understand it. So that's the big bonus on voicemails. In-person prospecting. This is effective, and a lot of people say, well, I'm better in person. That's great, but it's also hugely inefficient. You maybe, boy, if you're really working it, maybe can hit 5 or 10 people in a day. You could do that in an hour on the phone. So the only time you should be in-person prospecting is if you're already in the area. Let's say you had a meeting with a client. Well, that's a perfect time to go to the people to the left and the right of your client, knock on the door and say, hey, I was just helping out so-and-so. I do blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to introduce myself, and then have something to leave. You're unwelcome. So you don't want to hang around. Just tell them who you are, what you do really quickly, and drop something off. Hey, my name's Rick. I'm a commercial real estate agent. I'm helping the person in unit 103 sell their condo. If you know anybody who's looking to purchase an office condo, here are some new ones that just came on the market, and I'll leave them my flyer. That's it. They already know what I do. It's a warm intro. Then down the road, as I'm using my drip system and building that familiarity, they have a name to put to the face. But I'm in and out before they can even say no. Last one, email or text. We already talked about text. Email just historically has a 1 to 3% contact rate. If you're getting more than that opened, which some of my emails do, man, you are killing it. It means that you're email prospecting effectively. However, even on the downside of it having that really low contact rate, that's still 10 to 20 more times effective than social selling. In other words, quit social selling. If you are spending any amount of time on the social channels, it needs to be minimal. Like, I do a little bit of stuff on social, but just enough for name familiarity. So here are some tips. Do not send bulk email. It's going to get you blocked in spam filters. People don't want to see it. It's not effective. Along with that, do not buy lists. I've had so many people contact me and tell me they've got confirmed, pre-screened, opt-in email lists. I bought one time for when I worked down for Atiza in Mexico. My boss wanted to spend the money. I told him I didn't think it was a good idea. We bought the premier. We've combed this. It's opt-in. This is the best stuff. We spent, I think, $8,000 on this list. Guess how much traffic we got out of it? Literally zero. Well, no, we didn't get zero traffic. We got 3 messages back that were obscene. I literally cannot even repeat them here, but they had lots of very foul and racist language. So never, ever, ever buy lists. Create them yourself. Use an engaging subject line that, again, gets straight to the point. So like if I'm emailing a new office condo listing that I have, I will just put right in the line, because I want people to be able to say yes or no when they see the subject line, new office condo for sale in whatever area. And if they're not in the mood for an office condo, they're going to delete it. So it's making my day efficient, their day efficient. Don't use spammy words. Don't use, all caps. Don't use sale. Don't use exclamation points. Don't use, hyperbole, deal of the year, any of that. A lot of times spam filters, company spam filters will sort you out just based on that. Make it super short. This is not a time, again, to tell someone all about yourself. In fact, I just talked to one of my coworkers about this because I created a piece of literature and she said, well, nowhere in this 1-page sheet do you talk about who you are. And I said, of course not. They don't care. They don't need to know who I am or what I do until after I've gotten the meeting. And at the end, we've talked about this before, at the end of your meeting with them, that's when you can say, by the way, I am, I've won these awards. I've done this many sales, blah, blah, blah. That's their little thing to take away when they're thinking about it. So make it super short, 2 or 3 sentences. Feel like you're writing a tweet, except obviously without all the, ROFL, IMO bullcrap. Consider using alt text. This is a new one I've been doing and I've had much more success. People are so used to multimedia with videos and graphics and, huge, long, perfect font, like little magazine articles, but they're very easy to skip. If you just write literally plain text, 1 or 2 sentences, you're almost guaranteed to get them read because it's going to look so different. So that's what I'm doing now, just 1 to 2 sentences. Hey, I've got a new office condo available in your area. I thought it might be a good fit for you. Please take a look and let me know if you're interested. Or if it's somebody who's shown interest in something, like one of my profiles on the real estate website says that someone contacted me, I'll write them back and say, hey, I saw you were looking at 630 Alta Vista. Are you looking to rent or buy? And that's it. And I send it to them. I don't give them all my properties. I don't tell them about me. I just want to engage with them, because then if they write back and say we're looking at renting, then I can call them. Then I know they're engaging, and then I can get deeper. So consider alt text. Another one that will keep you from or get you in the spam filters, number 1. And number 2, just have the person hit block, is if you email multiple times a month. I've got a guy who right now is sending me the same ad for wet lab space every single week. And for the first, 2 or 3 times, I looked it over and saw, okay, I don't have anyone in that. Now it's getting so annoying. The next time I get one, I'm going to block him because he's sending too much and he doesn't know his audience. So don't oversend. Once a month is plenty. Again, you just want to stay top of mind. You don't want to be top of annoying. All right, time for journal discussion. This has been such an amazing month. It's funny, even though we just finished it, we've already had people request to do the book again next year. So we will definitely be doing this again and possibly holding some more in-depth seminars. If you know anybody who or a company that could really use this, Jarvis and I are going to turn this into a curriculum. So what has been a key takeaway for you from this book and these videos? Take some time to discuss with your group leader, or if you're seeing this on social, put some comments below and let us know what your key takeaways have been. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you soon, heroes.